Research Associate at Sustainable Development Policy Institute, and I welcome you all to our report launch composed by our senior colleague, and the report title is Air Quality, Air Pollution and Health, PM 2.5, AirQ Plus Estimation of Health Points, a review and analysis from the two urban cities of Pakistan. We have with us Dr. Razia Safdar, who is a senior advisor at Center for Health Policy and Innovation at SDPI. We also have a very eminent scholar, Mr. Abid Umar, who's the founder of Pakistan Air Quality Institute, which is also known as PAQI, based in Karachi. So very warm welcome to both of you. Ma'am, what is this report about, and how do you define air quality?
Thank you, Wasif, for inviting me for this one. And actually, this report is about the nexus of the air quality or the air pollution, the health, and the endpoints of, like, for example, the endpoints about the effect of the air pollution, which are the short term and the long term. So, this report is prepared by the data of the air quality from two cities of Pakistan, which is Islamabad and Peshawar, and we have tried to get the data of the health data, which is secondary data. And we have used AQ Plus software tool, which is prepared by the WHO, to estimate the impacts of air pollution on the health and air quality, impact of air quality on the health endpoints. For example, the long-term effect on the chronic heart disease, ischemic heart disease, and the chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and cancers, lung cancer, or other cancers, and also the acute respiratory tract infections. And this report is basically the population data used is about from 18 to 64 years. The children are not included in this report because the data was scarce on that, and because they are. Also this we have reviewed the air quality data in Pakistan, and what are and according to the WHO guidelines, at the policy level, what is available in Pakistan, and how this report can recommend to the policy makers where we can intervene, and where we can what is the entry point for improving the health of the people, particularly the long-term effects of the air pollution. So this report is about, it's divided into the 5 chapters, and this is about, first of all, we are talking about the air quality index, and the air quality and the national and also the international WHO guidelines for the air quality PM 2.5 level, which is the main pollutant of the interest. And a PM 2.5 is a particulate matter which is suspended in the air, and that is the most important particulate matter which affects the human health. Even it can enter into the bloodstream through the lungs, as well as, and so that affects that causes the long-term effects. And according to the WHO guidelines, the level of this particulate matter is 5 microgram per cubic meter. And Pakistan national environmental quality standards, this is 15 microgram per cubic meter. And for the new, according to the new national clean air policy guidelines, which was released in 2023 by the Ministry of Climate Change, that is, they have put the higher level, that is 35. So usually in my studies, these in Pakistan we are much away from this to achieve these targets. Right. So this report will I think support the government to really do the interventions which are beneficial
So
for
it
them.
would serve as a policy
Policy
guideline for the
guideline or
government.
the policy recommendations.
Very
This is
right.
for the with
So,
evidence. Yeah.
Dr. Razia, what do you think that what's the global situation in context of this air pollution, and what's the current situation of Pakistan in terms of air
Yeah.
pollution?
Yes, actually, the global situation, air pollution is a very is affecting the health of the people. Like almost 90% of the population is exposed or the exposed to the air pollution, and they on the bad effects of the air pollution. And about and mostly 90% are in the lower middle income countries, and 9 out of 10 people are exposed to the hazardous effects of the air pollution. And globally, 6 to 7 million people are affected, and there is a premature deaths, 6 to 7 million people annually. And in the AMRO region of WHO, which is they have published a recent report, and there are 560,000 deaths, premature deaths every year in that region. In Pakistan, it is 260,000 estimated in 2019. These are estimations, and they are projection from the secondary data. So these are this is the situation. So it is quite a number, and there are about 15% of the like deaths in the Pakistan due to in Pakistan is due to the air is attributed to the air pollution, both in ambient air pollution, the outdoor air pollution, as well as the household air pollution.
So there are so many questions popping up in my mind regarding this air pollution, and the figure is so high. And before going further, I would like to ask Abid Umar, and he would shed some light on the data. What do you think that why are, if these numbers are correct, why are these numbers so high?
So it's not only are these numbers so high that it's somewhat unbelievable, but it's also important to put them into perspective, that exactly how high are they. So we know that based on this research that the air pollution is the leading cause of sickness and death in Pakistan by a wide margin. This figure of actually 235,000 deaths per year dying of causes of death directly attributable to air pollution, it put in this perspective that this is way more than the total number of deaths over the last 2 decades caused by terrorism. And the quantum of this is much higher than other diseases such as heart diseases or other diseases that you were looking at. And in fact, I was looking at your report. You were using data from the Peshawar Clean Air Alliance, which is another amazing group of community that's come together to provide supporting data from ground-based monitors, where I believe the number is 80 micrograms per
80.
cubic
In
meter for Peshawar.
2020 it was 80, and in 2021 it was 80, and then before that, a year before, was 70. And I have compared the effects of these two the figures on the health side.
But what's amazing is that, you know, when you really think about it, the national target used to be 15, which is now increased to 35. But that means if the number for Peshawar, whether it was 70 or 80, is more than double of the even relaxed standard. So, and that the difference in reducing these causes of these numbers of death and the associated health impacts as well as the economic costs is going to come from effective policies around mitigating air pollution.
And it would certainly be much more than what we are earning in terms of other, I mean, health burden is much more than that of, because of the things which are causing this air pollution.
The health burden is much more costly. I mean, there are some studies which are putting this somewhere between 5 to 10% of our GDP is lost because of air pollution. So, you know, you're talking about some billions of dollars. And so imagine if that same investment was made in other areas, at how much more productive we would be as a nation, and we would be seeing GDP growth. But we were just talking about Peshawar, and I believe you did this study also for Islamabad, and what were the numbers over there?
Yeah, Islamabad, actually when we are using this data, we take the annual average. So in annual average in Islamabad in 2021 was, and from August 21 to December, August 22 was 41.6. And for this study, I just did the projections, or reduce the, if this is basically 41, and there are like for example 81, all cause mortality is 81 deaths are attributed towards adult deaths, not the children. So they are attributed towards the air pollution. So if we reduce this air pollution from 41 to 31, then it becomes it has reduced markedly. So these are the entry points where the policymakers can make, by reducing the air pollution burden is to reduce the impacts, health impacts. Yeah. So
Before going further down the report, I would like to ask for the benefit of the audience if you could tell the difference between smog and air pollution, because it's not rightly clear in front of me. I have read the report, but
So, there's a lot of misunderstanding around this issue, where people tangle themselves up into the semantics of what is the difference. There is no difference. Smog and air pollution is the same thing. The terminology around smog was developed from Los Angeles in the 1990s, where they had a certain type of smog, which they were calling a photochemical pollution, which was based a lot more around carbon, around VOC emissions coming from the transportation sector. But at the end of the day, it is all air pollution, no matter whether you call it Hawai Aludgi, or whether you call it PM 2.5 pollution or nitrogen dioxide pollution. But I mean, pollution is pollution.
so you are based in Karachi. What's the situation there, by the way?
So, I mean, coming from the figures you were citing for Islamabad, there's an annual average of 41. Our data also shows similar numbers. Karachi, the number is 48. But I mean, again, it's all about framing this conversation. That what do those numbers mean in a global context, in the context of other cities? These numbers, if I say 41 or 80, are actually meaningless. But put it in context that out of the top 10 most polluted cities worldwide, all the major Pakistani cities are in that list, which includes Karachi, which includes Islamabad, it includes Peshawar, and it includes Lahore. So amongst the top 10 are these four cities.
actually, this is the PM 2.5 level, and if we compare it with the standards of the WHO, which WHO makes made this standard because below that level, the health impacts are minimal. But there are health impacts, but because there are ultrafiltrate particles also. But above before 5.5 microgram per cubic millimeter is the cutoff point for the guidelines which were published. But before that, it was 10 milligram per. This is the point where the effect is health impact is increased. So 41 means that it is about 7-8 times higher than the what is the standard recommended level.
And this means that something like you're losing 3 to 4 years of your life expectancy in cities like Peshawar and Islamabad. But it gets even worse in Lahore. I mean, when you talk about these numbers and you talk about Lahore, just yesterday the AQI reached something like 2,000. The PM 2.5 levels crossed 1,000. So, and then you say, oh, the WHO says the limit should be 5. and when you talk about 1,000, it feels like it's an unachievable target.
Yeah,
So, coming back to report, if you can dovetail my question as well, that what are the major components of this report, main components of this report?
yeah, first I have discussed about the global and the local perspective, and then about the Pakistan's health scenario. And mainly I have discussed about the non-communicable diseases which are the most affected, like for example ischemic heart disease, cardiac disease, stroke, and also the chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and the cancers, lung cancer is and other cancers, and also the intrauterine life is also affected by this pregnant women. These are the vulnerable populations, and during this period, not everybody according to the statistics, 90 out of 9 out of 10 people are affected. But most vulnerable are the elderly people, for the children, and also the pregnant women. They are more affected. And about this is like, for example, these are according to this study. These are the studies which has given us the estimations. But you know, for the global north, there are a lot of epidemiological studies going on. Their context is like, their environment is bit different, and so we are projecting their things we are applying their tools in this region as well. But in Pakistan, or in this region, in the Southeast Asian region, there is no solid epidemiological study which can give really a good estimation of the health impacts.
How
So
is
that
it
is very-
monitored in Pakistan? I mean, how
Yeah,
is the
actually
quality?
there is a big divide we are collecting the air quality data, which is I think much more improved in bigger cities of Pakistan. But the health data we are really lacking on health data. And health data which is required is, and if in certain hospitals, like for example the bigger hospitals, in Karachi probably, they are collecting some data, but there is a gap in utilizing that data. And also the air quality, the departments which are in our scenario in Punjab, the departments which are collecting the air quality data are not in line with the health data, or they are not data sharing is also a big
Problem
issue.
maybe.
Big issue. Like for example, meteorological department, if they are, or the EPA is collecting some air quality, but that data should be directly going to the health department, so that they can alert.
So
They can
there is
issue
no
the
centralized
yeah,
mechanism.
centralized mechanism, and there is so that is a, for example, for these studies, if we want to get really do a good studies, so that needs both the department. For example, the health data it was taken from the previous epidemiological studies. It is derived, but it's not a real time data. So far in Pakistan, for the air pollution, it is still not available. So
what are the health impacts of air pollution on the most affected population? As
like
per your report.
for short term effects, like for example the children who are asthmatic, or the children going to the school, small children, they can be affected, and there are increased emergency room attendance in those areas. There are, if we and for the elderly people, they usually they have the comorbidities like ischemic heart disease, like other stroke or some. So they are also there is increase in the emergency room attendance by those populations. For women who are pregnant, it can transfer through the placenta, and that can affect the babies. But there is not primary research on that in Pakistan, so that needs to be done. And for example, the ladies who are pregnant are more exposed to the household air. So the household air pollution is much more dangerous for the children and for the
And I would
women.
also request if you can share the key findings of your report.
Yeah, there is for the for the case from the case studies, for example, the all-cause mortality, which is from 30 plus. If in Peshawar it is like if we reduce the air pollution to reduce that from the 80 to 70. For example, in 2019 it was 80. So 2020 it was 80. So it is, if it is reduced to 70, it can save almost, I think, 81 lives. So, and if in Islamabad also there are due to all cause mortality, it can reduce to almost 40 lives can be saved.
So,
Yeah.
What are the key recommendations from your end?
My key, there should be some inter-departmental coordination, and there should be mechanism of the particularly the sharing of the health and the air quality data, and there should be one platform for that where and there should be some start of some epidemiological or some studies which are from the primary data collection. And also the awareness is like we are, I think awareness is a good entry point to particularly about the health impact, so that the people are really taking up. But for the Punjab strategy during this year for closing the schools and all these things, and so I think we should mitigate some other solutions for that, because we are facing this in this season. And also I think data collection is the main thing.
Right. So it seems to be a very good report, and before concluding the session, I would request Mr. Abid Umar to shed some light, and how did you find this report, and would you recommend it to others for reading it, serving the purpose of
You see,
knowledge?
it's some of the things you're talking about research and data collection and data availability. Those are very real challenges over here. But I think the bigger challenge here is to have people to do any research to begin with. And that is one of the things that we have been advocating for since the 8-9 years that we're working in this field, that there are more people needed to do research on air pollution. I believe you applying the AirQ Plus tool for Peshawar and Islamabad is probably the first time that it's been done in Pakistan. These are tools which are very easy to use. They're available for anyone with a lot of documentation on the procedure. Of course, the challenge comes in the data, but these should be done for every single city in Pakistan. Isn't health such an important issue? So, I find that any research coming for air pollution to be very important in Pakistan, but frankly, this is probably the only thing that is going to be published about air pollution, or maybe there are 2-3 other academic publications which don't really, resonate. So
There is a room for research.
there is a massive room for
Yes.
research, because the policies that are out there today have to be driven by evidence, and that evidence has to be studied based on this kind of research. You're seeing already the impact of the green lockdown and other policies which have been started in Lahore, and we're seeing that the pollution level is not changing because those policies are not grounded in scientific research and evidence.
Right.
And
So,
sorry, one thing I forgot. It has to be multi-sectoral approach. The most important contributor is transport sector. For example, in Peshawar, so 58% contribution is from the transport sector. So that it's not like only working only to managing the people. It is to improve the policies in other sectors, and the health should be the central, and health should be in all policies. So that is the point where then we can really make the impact on it.
so So there is a lot more to be discussed, but due to the shortage of time, we have to conclude the session, and the report is available online for anybody who want to access it. And thank you very much, Dr. Razia Safdar, for sharing it with us and for doing this study as well. And Mr. Abid Umar for taking out time and joining us today here, all the way from Karachi.
Thank you very much, Wasif, for hosting us. Thank you.
Thank you. ज़बरदस्त
Yeah.
बहुत अच्छी बातें
Yeah.
हो गई हैं
Thank you very much. हाँ जी।
मैंने ना रिपोर्ट पढ़ी है.
वेल गुड जॉब
नहीं आप
आपको
हाँ,
मुताबिक से
बिल्कुल।
मिलवा दें बट लवली मीटिंग
हाँ। Abid, I think